I need some glasses so I can see what the hell I'm doing. Okay, so now the burn and learn. That's right. My feeble attempts to stay fit and alive long enough to enjoy the rest of my old age with my fabulous son and my brilliant, beautiful wife Jane, and our various, you know, ark-like collection of pets, which I believe are probably going to start growing now because I don't have a son around anymore. So I'm going to need to get like a penguin and a pig, and I don't know, maybe some kind of a. I kind of want a spider. I think maybe some jumping spiders because they're kind of cool. Anyways, hello. I can't read. I can't read. Need my glasses. My 3D printed glasses, I might add. Cine Junkie, how are ya? Cine Junkie, I'm very good. I'm very good. How are you? How are you doing today? It was a tough one today. I've got to say, didn't feel like it today. I do like this chair though. Whee! Um, this is back on the rowing machine again, by the way. So this is my burn and learn. This is I will try to learn something while I'm doing the thing I hate most, which I do the thing I love most, learning things, while I do the thing that I hate most, which is exercise. And good. Cine Junkie's doing well. Alexander Sherbel, how are you? Actually, let me get my better glasses. I got better glasses than this. Come with me. Walk with me. Walk with me while I get myself some better glasses to see you. All the better to see you with. These glasses are fabulous. I 3D printed these glasses because I kept sitting on the ones that I have. And do I have my? Oh, I don't. Huh. Okay. I do, however, have a dog. What's up, Saw? What you doing? Two things. There you go. I'm live again. Did I lose it for a second? Did I? Oh, is it this connection? Did you see the dog? Hey, what's this? Who's this? Who's this? Look, it's burn and learn time. Is that exciting? I don't have my. Yeah, I don't have my reading glasses, so I'm just gonna have to keep it close. I have to just keep you close to my heart. So today I did. I think I did 23 minutes today. I'm trying to add a little bit every time. Let me go sit in a comfy chair now. Oh, how lovely is that? So can I do this even? Is that good? That's terrible. That's a terrible shot. Let's just do this. Okay, you're in my lap. So I did, yeah, 23 minutes, which isn't much. It's a bit feeble, but I'm trying to sort of slowly build up to it. I don't want to be an idiot. No macho man for me. I'm just slowly building up to back to where I was, which I don't even remember where that was now. I have to go back and look at my old burn alert to see what I was up to. I think it was like 45 minutes or so. Maybe not, maybe 35. But anyways, that would be good. 23 is better than me. Well done. Yeah, I mean, this is it. I figured 23 minutes is better than no minutes, which is what I was doing before. I haven't changed anything else. I'm still eating like a giant pig, and thoroughly enjoying it. We had a friend come over the other day and bring a collection of cheeses, which is what made me think of the title of this one. But just these absolutely, he's looking into all these sort of artisanal and new Ontario cheese places and just trying to sort of explore and see what's out there and some wonderful what is it like prosciutto basically. It was kind of a nicely salted smoky prosciutto and stuff. Oh my god, it was delicious. Anyways, so I've been eating the leftovers of that too. Good afternoon to you, Mandy Buckland. Ashton Hader says, "Oh no, I'm late." No, I'm late, Ashton Hader. I started way later today. Janelle, how are you, Janelle? I started much later today. Had a nice sleep in. I was like, you know what? I don't have a child. I have no son to wake me up. I have no reason to get up at the crack of dawn, though that's what I'd like to do. I always plan on going. I go to bed. I'm like, okay, I'll set the alarm for like 6 a.m. and then or 5 a.m. and I'll get up and then I'll write 4 books and paint the house and be down for breakfast. And the reality is, I end up sleeping in until after 9 and lying in bed listening to the news and getting depressed about that. And then I drag myself to the torture that is exercise, and then I get rewarded by getting to talk to you. So there you go. Up your protein percentage of your meals, you'll naturally just eat less. So that's interesting. That is interesting. So on my learn portion, I'm putting this in quotes right now because I really should be diving deeper on stuff, but I find because I'm right back to the exercise recently, I'm finding it quite all consuming. So I'm trying to go a little fluffier with the stuff I'm listening to from the learn perspective. On the elliptical machine, what I liked is I could watch stuff. So I could set up a series of YouTube educational videos, and I could just sit there and watch that while stand there walking while I watch it. On this one, I can't really do that because it's just back and forth and back and forth. So I've just been relying on the audio side of stuff. I've been listening to the This Week in Tech, the Leo Laporte stuff again, and I'm just catching up on a bunch of old episodes. And just because I find it such a great insight into the technologies and the tools that people are actually using or will actually end up using. So I've had that going in the background. What they're talking about today was this sort of the AI, the next stage of AI seems to be, well, sort of consumer pitched AI is these what they would call agents, which is they always have come up with these silly sci-fi terms for it, but they've got agents that will go out and do things for you. And you can say, get me the cheapest tickets to the Blue Jays versus the, who are we playing? I don't even know. Is it LA? I think it's LA. To the game where people hit balls around and get mad at each other. Get me the cheapest tickets in Toronto if they come back or something like that. And the idea is that these agents will go out and do this for you. I'm not convinced by this right now. I'm not sure I would hand over my credit cards to a bot basically, but who knows? Maybe in the future, maybe that'll be something worth doing. How is the sound, by the way? I'm not seeing sound on this thing. Does it sound like it did yesterday? Doesn't sound any different. I'm hoping it's still waking as it should. It sounds great. Oh, good. Okay, good. Mm. Jenny A. I did one actually years ago. This was years ago in the early days of AI. I went on to character AI and I made a Rodney McKay one that I would tweak now and again. I should go back and see where I'm sure they must be more advanced now than they were back then. But I had a lot of fun with that. Basically, put in a little prompt that I felt was somewhat my subtext for some of the stuff I did on Stargate and went with that. I think that was character AI. I'll have to check that out. Hey, I have a question about nothing if you don't mind answering. I don't mind answering, Cine Junkie. Cine Junkie, you really are Cine Junkie, aren't you? You're watching a lot of movies and some seriously old ones too at the same time. What do you got? Bring it on. I've talked to the one you made on character AI. You talked to that. Oh, good. Okay. How was it, Ashton? Did you enjoy it? Any good? Mm. Everyone has these crowns now. It's amazing. You guys have been doing a lot of commenting, I guess. Okay, selective fasting. Yeah, the selective. I know. The fasting's actually. I don't know if fasting's any good for people talk about sort of fasting for health, but I don't know about that. But fasting for weight is actually there's been a feel like, oh, I'm going to eat early and then not. I'm going to eat early in the evening, go to bed, and then not eat until later in the day, and that counts as a big on fast, and of course you're asleep for half of it. Here's the problem: I just love breakfast. I love dinner too. Yeah, there you go. There's the problem. I love dinner and breakfast. Yes. So I figure right now, I am just going to concentrate on trying to get my lazy Stargate butt onto some kind of a torture device and get myself exercise. So that's what I'm doing. I do have dog walks as well, which helps a little bit with that stuff, but I just don't do a lot of exercise. I do a lot of sitting and talking like this, a lot of it. So, and it's so late that I'm already on coffee, and oh my god, it's delicious. Okay, Cinna Junkie had a question about Nothing. Let's see what it is. So Nothing is a film I did years and years ago. We worked together on the script, the three of us, and this was Vincenzo, Andrew, and myself. And then Andrew and his writing partner went off and wrote that with Vincenzo. And it's an odd film. I love it, but it's very, very odd. And it's funny. We watched it again recently at a festival, and I was kind of cringing because I was like, "Oh God, we thought we were so funny." You know what I mean? Like it's sort of that youthful folly thing. Anyways, so at the end of Nothing, there's an elephant sounds racing towards Dave and Andrew, and in the film commentary, Vincenzo definitely hints at Nothing too. I just wondered if that has been discussed. It came up. It's come up. I mean, Nothing is more of a cult film, a very specific cult film, than a financial success. I think it wasn't. It didn't cost a lot to make, but it for some reason it does keep coming up, and you never know. I mean, there's a whole sort of retro thing now where a lot of people. I'm getting so many people coming and talking to me about films I did years and years ago. I guess because they're coming up. I know there's a lot of YouTube channels that will sort of watch and discuss old films and stuff. And so I guess maybe that's come up. I mean, Vincenzo's real original claim to fame was Cube, and that sort of launched his career. And he's such an incredibly smart, incredibly talented director. I mean, if you want to Halloween, do yourself a favor, go check out. I freaking love it. My favorite part on of all time. And I really, really wanted to make another movie soon because I freaking I because I like watching them because they're great. Anyways, and Vincenzo and I we worked together. We played together as kids. We were 14, 15 years old making little movies in at school together, and we've just been doing it ever since. And I think it we especially on that Graveyard Rats. If you can stand a few rodents, it's definitely worth watching because there were numerous times on that set where Vincenzo and myself and often Julian as well, because Julian was involved in Cube way back when. But specifically Vincenzo and I would stand there and go like, "Oh my God, like they're paying us to do what we did when we were 14 or 15 years old. We're making a living doing this, and how effing lucky are we to be doing that?" So, and Nothing was just another example. That was just another film that we just got to work with friends, and it was a really tough shoot. And I was going through a really tough time. I was going through a divorce at the time, and it was just, oh God, it was. I can't. I I can only imagine how horrible I was because I was just being. I felt like I was being torn asunder. But that said, the film, I mean, it's just so funny to watch it now. It's very much a time capsule and a very very odd and frankly kind of innovative weirdness that Vincenzo, of course, is famous for now. So, oh my God, okay, I got behind. It seems fun but difficult, like the bungee cord. Oh, the bungee cord stuff. Oh yeah, it was physical for sure, physical. But I always there's no film that I do with Vincenzo that doesn't demand that I'm in some kind of physical, discomfort. So. I've checked that. What's that? What's going on? Love Natalie's work. I do get that. Right. No errors here. Probably losing bandwidth near me. Sound is fine. Stream was lagging, but okay at the moment. Sound is breaking up. Oh, is sound breaking up? Oh, okay. All right. It was good when I saw you create it. It was like, oh, that makes sense. Um, how is the sound? Are we? You know what it might be? It's because I'm holding it in a weird way. Maybe if I do this. I do this. How's that? And then that goes in. And that goes in. It's this cute little things. I just love these things. These little. You can see it. I can't see it. There it is. I can you will see it. It's these little. I can't quite get the cable's not quite long enough. But it's these cute little Rode microphone things. These things. And the microphone just sits there and apparently records. Although I don't see, I don't know why it's not seeing. I'm not seeing it on there. Oh, I know I'm not seeing it on there because there's a little app that runs for it instead. It was, but it's okay now. Okay, great. I thought about how AI could continue old series indefinitely, even on the fly. Yeah, I mean, and that's so. This is it. So Hollywood, we all thought, and I thought certainly, and I'm guilty of this as well. But the original thought when AI came out was like, oh my God, watch out for those Joe jobs because all of those, programming and translation, and not that those are Joe jobs, but writing press releases, all that kind of stuff. That's all going to be done by AI. Look out, the non-creative stuff. So concentrate on the creative because that's the stuff that AI can't do. Well, guess what? AI can do it. You could punch in, you could throw the scripts for every episode of Stargate in, and Stargate SG1 and SGU and any of the other stuff. Throw it all together, throw it in with a movie even, and say, okay, come up with a new series that involves this, 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 and this. I I'm torn because I'm a tech optimist. I want this stuff to work. I love the idea of democratizing the creation of things like that. But at the same time, you go like, "Uh-oh, that's my job." I mean, there is enough footage of me on the internet that you could easily generate a McKay like character and throw him in whatever you want, and you don't need to include me on that. I imagine there will be some kind of safeguards that come into play for that eventually. But oh, Mandy Buckland's making chainmail. Woohoo! Haven't done any for a while. Well, it's fabulous stuff. Would actors be asked to use their likeness? Well, that's funny. So Tombstone. So one of the things I was doing in my burn and learn today was researching that. There's a couple of these agencies, big acting talent, as they would call it, agencies, and they are full scanning, like a 3 hour process, scanning, digitizing the voice, everything of their actors, so that they can then license that out and retain control of it. And part of the reason for this is a lot of this is all lawyer stuff, right? If you've got a digital representation of yourself that you are selling or licensing or whatever, if someone uses it, without your permission, you can go like, hey, there's a copyright infringement. So basically, I've got a product that does that, and you've just ripped it off. So that's what the big agencies are trying to do, I think, by creating this stuff. But it also means that, if you got Nathan Fillion is doing a million different movies, and they want him in a new Call of Duty game or something, they can just take those assets and create everything they need out of that. And maybe they can bring him in to tweak some stuff or whatever if they need to. But the majority of the work is done, and they can license this stuff out without him even getting to leave the house. So I guess that's the appeal for it. I mean, the problem is, again, I can't imagine you're going to get paid as much unless you're, Tom Cruise or John Batista or whatever. I mean, just unless you're a big name, Jason Momoa. I don't think you're going to get huge top dollar for that. You're not going to be probably not going to be able to survive on that. So you go, okay, well, great. So we're selling ourselves off, but it's getting cheaper and cheaper. How do we earn a living? I say do something else because I don't feel like acting is a privilege. I think acting is, I mean, I feel like acting is a privilege, not a right. And I've always said I don't understand how people negotiate as an actor because there's always a million other people who'd be happy to take the part, many of whom are probably just as good. So as I say, I've got this sort of techno optimist approach, but I'm also in the film and TV industry, and I see what it can do, both for the good and the bad. I mean, it really is worrying that someone could basically just create these, could just do fake versions of these, and no one would know. People. I mean, the number of fake YouTube and social media people that are out there. I mean, it's like whack-a-mole. I've given up because there's just so many people who pretend to be me and try to talk people into giving them money and stuff. So if I ever ask you for anything other than things through techbandits.org, or Patreon or something, then you got to be careful. There's all sorts of stuff going on out there. I am on Android. If someone is asking about that, out of curiosity, Atlantis was set now. Would McKay be an iPhone or an Android user? Are you kidding? McKay is Android, absolutely. It does. I mean, well, and I say that I'm Android, but I'm sort of a reluctant Android. I just didn't want to spend the money on an iPhone. I just felt like I was giving freaking Apple so much money, and I'm kind of ticked off at these big corporations right now because I don't like them all paying homage and grift bribes to a president that they want to appease. It doesn't look. I mean, maybe that's the way things have always worked. It just isn't as refreshingly corrupt and transparent is maybe not the word, but as obvious as it is now. But I just feel like I kind of like a company like Apple, especially whether you agree or disagree with the politics. Apple is supposed to be a progressive, left-leaning, caring company. It's supposed to. That is definitely its marketing jargon, which again I know is just marketing, whatever. I'm not being naive about it. But the fact to watch that guy, Tim Apple or whatever his name is, presenting some made-up, you know, golden glassy thing to that pumpkin is just, oh God, drives me nuts. Anyways, have you ever thought about producing your own show? Oh, many, many times. I spent a lot of times, Rad Dude, looking into developing stuff. My wife does that. That's what she produces films. And it's just it's a really tough racket. It's not that we shouldn't do it. I haven't produced, but I've written a bunch of stuff, and we're working on another one now. Jane and I've got a project that we're going to work on together, which is nice because it gets us, all this wonderful thing about us both working in the same industry. We both work in the same industry at different times, different days, different locations. So I never see the damn woman. So the hope is that doing another movie together will actually allow us to work together as well as live together. It's we converse about who's taking the dog out when is basically all the time we have because she's running off to do things and I'm as scattered as I always am. So McKay would have had a Linux phone. Yeah. Rod Snichter. Yeah, absolutely. I'd have like my own. Yeah, I'd have. Yeah, I think it would definitely be or like some kind of an Android adjacent phone. I didn't know they made Linux phones, to be honest. Yes, if there was a Linux phone, McKay would have a Linux phone. It would never work. He'd constantly be having problems with it. He'd never be in communication with people the way he should. But it would be his own. He probably would have written the kernel for it himself and write all of his own apps and everything. And they would sort of, some of them would be brilliant, but most of them would be flawed. So that's what I would say. If Amazon rebooted Stargate after buying MGM, would you jump at the chance to play? Of course, yeah, absolutely. Would I play McKay again? In a second. In a second. I mean, he'd probably be old and on a screen or wheeled in at this point. But he's he. It was a joy. It was an absolute joy. He's an absolutely fabulous character to play. I mean, I can't. I mean, I don't know where they've got horseshoes lodged in me, but I've just been so ridiculously fortunate in this business. I feel bad for people coming into it now because I think it's going to be a much tougher time than I had. And But I mean, again, the industry is all about what you look like and luck. That's it. I mean, you can sort of kid yourself that, well, good, you get, it's amazing how lucky you are when you're good at something. And yes, you have to have the technique and you have to, you can get better at acting for sure, like you can get better at anything. I do feel like I've got a technique now. I do feel like I can deliver when I need to, and people are going to get their money's worth. But at the same time, a lot of it is just luck. And sometimes that luck is just genetics. I mean, when I was growing up, they liked blonde hair, blue eyes, so, and, white, blonde hair, blue eyes. That was, and that's what I was. So there you go. I got lots of roles. That's the only reason I got the chance. If I'd been a black kid, or a Mexican kid, or any of the other minorities, the chances of me getting any roles, let alone the kind of roles I got now, I got then was basically, was basically impossible. So, I mean, so much of this stuff, when they talk about merit-based stuff, it really pisses me off because it's based on what? Like, based on, like, I am so privileged. I am so entitled to some extent. I mean, and I'm not beating myself up about it. I'm just saying like that was my lot in life. It's not a lot, but it's a life. I just That's my wife's favorite Bugs Life quote. It's just I think we have to keep in mind that there's a certain element, especially with this kind of stuff, especially with acting, for God's sake. I mean, genetics says that for some reason, when the camera's on me, it works better than it does when it points at someone else who looks similar to me. You know what I mean? Like there's just yeah, and whether it's and better could mean I look slimier, I look more dodgy, I look more evil or more good or more of an asshole. I don't know, but that is just luck. I mean, yes, you can play into it, and there are actors who will run with it and who are fantastic at it. And I think that obviously there's talent involved, but I'm not sure there's that much talent involved in getting into it in the first place. I think that is a lot of luck, is like if that happens. So anyways, I just sort of try to keep things I try to sort of keep things in perspective here. Like, as egotistical as I'd like to be about how brilliant I am, I have to come back to the fact that also a lot of this is luck. So yeah, there's merit. I've done the work. I do the homework. I deliver, but only because I can. You know what I mean? So, anyways, difficult takes a few seconds, impossible a few minutes. Best code ever. It's true. It's a good one. It's a good one. I've started a climate company since, but still look at the stars when I have a chance. Oh, SGA Firefly. That was fantastic. So you're doing a climate company. What does that mean? So you're working on some solutions for us. Would you want to start a production company to give people opportunities? Well, that's Jane. Jane does that. Like Jane's had interns and has a bunch of people that she talks to. She teaches. Here's my thing. I didn't take classes. I didn't do acting classes. I learned about films. I learned about theater. I read Shakespeare. I took drama as like a class in school. I didn't do any of the homework and I failed most of the time because I just didn't deliver any of the stuff. But I loved reading it and I loved being immersed in it. And I loved reading biographies and like I did the research. I just didn't do the work. I didn't go to theater school. I didn't do any of that stuff. So I feel kind of weird. I could see offering like some suggestions. I don't mind helping people out. My first one is always like get your driver's license. If you want to get in the film industry, I don't care whether you're an actor or whatever, a director, producer, whatever, get a driver's license because the number of people who don't have driver's license who want to get into the film industry is extraordinary. And any benefit, any advantage you get. I remember my drama teacher from high school. saying that. I mean, he was a working actor. He became a priest, and then he was a priest at our school, and he also, because he'd been acting, he taught drama, and he was very kind and very helped me out. And but his thing was just like, any advantage you've got, take it. If you can, sorry, advantage is the wrong way of putting it. That sounds like that sounds a little bit Machiavellian. No, it's more like any skills you can add to the pot, do it. Like, oh, learn to juggle, learn to sing, learn to dance, learn all that kind of stuff. I never did any of the singing and dancing stuff because I suck at that. But and I sort of took that to heart, where I just tried to experience things so that I would have a perspective on things when it came to the acting. But the reality is, I didn't do any of the classes stuff, so I don't feel like I can. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm a teacher. I mean, I don't. I weirdly feel more comfortable talking about the science and tech stuff than I do the acting. But maybe that's just some kind of, what is it, that it's that it, what is it, the knowledge thing? There's a term for it, where you have skills and knowledge, but because you have them, you don't realize that they're of value to people. Initially went in for a degree in astrophysics and electrical engineering, but then realized how crazy that was. Then went in just for astro. Wow, yeah, I mean, that's a course load. What do you got? Have you ever messed around with the program Autodesk Maya? Random question. I did. Well, here's my thing, Cine Junkie. I started looking at all of them. I had, I've played with all the Adobe suite. I played with a little bit of Maya. I played with Cinema 4D. My biggest thing though was, I want something that is accessible to. I was doing this with Tech Bandits mainly, so I wanted something that was accessible to people in general. And so I've gone with Blender, and I love Blender. Blender is so much fun to play with. I've done some 3D printing stuff with it. I've done some silly little animation stuff with it. That, an Unreal Engine, those are two things that are definitely worth playing with, and are free to start. Like, you can get into it, and it doesn't cost you more than whatever. I mean, you do need a fairly decent computer to get the stuff running properly, but still, those are two things that I absolutely love. My problem with Maya is just expense. It just, maybe they've got a free version now or whatever, but I just found that I wanted something that was free, that was always free, or open source, or whatever the deal is. And I've thrown a few bucks at Blender in the past, I believe. Just because, again, it's just such a wonderful thing. If you want to get into the 3D design stuff, there's, AutoCAD has a free one called Tinkercad, which looks like a kid's toy, but it's absolutely fantastic. So, what else we got? I play with both at the same time. Very good. Nice chatting, listening to David. Everyone, I best get back to work. I'll be watching you tonight on my return to Stargate SG1. Yay! All right, JPRS6, you get to work. Blender is Play-Doh for adults. It really is. Yeah. It's like I called Minecraft Lego without the mess. I mean, the idea that you could build stuff and not have to clean up after is amazing. All right, I'm verging on half an hour here. I should probably move on with I should get on with my day. True, so expensive. Luckily, I've been using the student version, which comes with my tuition. Yeah, Cine Junkie, look, if you've got access to a free version from school, obviously you should take that. And the reality is, in the industry, it is generally those big software packages are what people are asking for. I mean, look, a great thing to do is go to Indeed.com or LinkedIn Jobs or whatever, and just have a look and see what jobs are available and what tools they're using. That's always fun for me. I go look at that and I go, oh, this is the stuff you can start seeing what's like. I mean, I noticed the Python was being used a lot more, so I started playing with Python, not because for the job skills, just because I want to know what people are using. I don't see a lot of Blender as a job description. That said, I think that will change. There's a movie called Flow, which is up for a Oscar. Did it win an Oscar? I don't know, but it was certainly up for an Oscar, which was all done on Blender, and a small crew, like 24 people or something, to make this little animated film. And I just think that is so exciting to me. The idea, that democratizing of these tools, and Blender. Oh my God, Blender is it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, its interface is a bit terrifying. Oh, Helen C, thank you very much. Helen C just bought me a cup of coffee, and a nice one too. Well, thank you very much, Helen. That's very kind of you. I didn't even know you could do that on here. I did know you could do that on here, but I didn't realize people were doing it. Thank you. God, I hope I haven't missed anyone else. Can have fun learning C Sharp and Java, and then get stuck writing in VSB script? Exactly, timeless classical. That's exactly it. Although I must say I did quite like VB Script as well. When that first came out, I was like, "Ooh, it was amazing." I mean, I started in Basic. Basic on a Commodore 64 was my thing. Then I've played a lot with batch files and stuff. I loved batch files on Windows and well DOS actually originally. And then Visual Basic came up and I played with that for a while. I got a bit bogged down in that. I've loved going back to Python though. Like Python is not I didn't know Python, but I discovering Python and then sort of delving into that has been amazing. I love it, and I've had Perplexity AI, gone back and forth with it, trying to figure out how things work and stuff with that. It's just amazing. I mean, the coding side of stuff is oh my god, it's wonderful. It's like having a PhD in computer science sitting next to you, going like, oh, that's this and that's that. So I definitely use that. Do you think current copyright laws prevent good storytelling? It's a good question. I think it's I think it's sad that the fan fiction side of stuff is so sort of hobbled by the copyright issues. I mean, I love seeing people make their own stuff, but the reason why you don't see a lot of Stargate stuff is because MGM is very litigious about that stuff and will shut things down very quickly. So I think that's my wife's hairdryer going right now. She too has been exercising, to be fair, so she has a right to look good too. And so I hate that it stamps down on the fan fiction stuff because I love that stuff and the fan films and all that sort of stuff. And I wish there was a better way that these companies could integrate that into what they do. And you see it every so often. I mean, I think the guys who did some Warhammer videos, beautiful Warhammer videos. I can't remember what they're called now. Artemis or Art. I can't remember. It's beautiful stuff. If you look up Warhammer shorts, there's some amazing ones. I mean, I think he got hired by them to do some promotional stuff for them. So I think there's a back and forth that can happen. But honestly, copyright I don't think is the problem with storytelling. I think storytelling is the problem with storytelling. I think the fact that we've turned films into a commodity, that they're called IP now and content instead of what they are, which is stories. And I think we need to focus more on the stories than the marketing and the business side of it, because I think the business will find you. I mean, I feel like if you write a good story and create a good film, and you don't spend a ridiculous amount of money on it, then you could probably succeed with it. That said, it's a weird industry, and it's very I don't know how you stand out in them, and it's going to be more difficult now too. Because keep in mind, we're talking about AI. There's going to be AI films and AI scripts and AI content that's just going to get spat out. And who knows? Maybe some of it'll be great, but I mean, I've watched some big blockbuster stuff and gone like, man, I wish AI had written that. Would have made more sense. Like AI slop is very good at replacing human slop, and there's a lot of human slop out there, like just a lot of just stuff that's just content for the sake of content. But I don't think copyright's holding it back. I think it's a, I think it's a the fact that people seem to be more focused on making a movie than telling a good story. And I think that the good story part is the most important part of it. It's why I like Vincenzo so much. Is Vincenzo spends so much time working out, you know, what the story is he's telling and how he's going to do that visually. So, and I think that's the art. I mean, you see it Guillermo too. We're going to go see Guillermo's Frankenstein tomorrow, and I can't wait. Again, the great thing about Vincenzo and Guillermo for that matter is that even if you don't like the movie, you appreciate the movie. You know what I mean? Like even if you don't like the story or if you have problems with whatever, the reality is it's just you have to watch them because they're a spectacle. They're fantastic. I mean, and they have a personality to them. I think that's what's missing from a lot of the stuff. Maybe. Sorry, I'm just pontificating now, but really, I think this sort of corporatization of making films, the fact that it's such a business, just I think is beginning to show because efficiencies don't necessarily make for good stories. So I have a feeling with all the AI stuff coming out, with all of the sort of upheaval in the film industry right now, we're gonna be seeing people craving those little human connections. It's like like Anora, watching a film like Anora, or watching God, there was another one that we loved. Jane, what was the film about the drug dealer that we liked? The drug dealer in Mexico? Was it Mexico? It was up for an Oscar, I think. And it had the woman from Guardians of the Galaxy in it.
Not Sicario.
Sicario?
How many years ago?
Oh, like recently, along with Honora. It was Honora and another one that we loved.
Sorry. You mean Emilia Perez?
Amelia Perez, that's it. Thank you. Sorry, I just doing my burn alert. I can't remember what these things are called. Yes, Amelia Perez, another one that I mean, again, a big movie stars and stuff, but just again, just a fascinating way to tell a story, a unique way of telling a fascinating story. So, um, uh, oh, Red Dude, you didn't like it? That movie was so bad. So, but yeah, some people hated it. But again, that's what I love about it. I love movies that people love or hate. I'm so sick and freaking tired of people coming out of movies and going like, huh, yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, or yeah, it's pretty good. You know what I mean? Screw that. I want opinions. I want people coming out and arguing about it. Like, I like this. What? I hated that. That's a good that's a good story. Total trans jerk bait for Hollywood. No, as a trans woman, I was so annoyed with it. Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure. Look, and I, but again, it it got people talking about stuff. It got people outraged or entranced or yeah, I thought it was fabulous. I mean, but at the same time, I totally understand there's going to be people who hate it as well, as there should be. I want opinions on this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I want people to have. I love having discussions about like, what, you like that movie? Are you crazy? A number of times I find myself doing that. I am amazed I liked Amelia Perez because it's not my type of movie, but I was absolutely entranced. I just thought it was just, and I think it was more the filmmaking than anything else. But and Honora, too long, too pretentious, but I loved it. I don't know why. Maybe I'm getting old about this stuff. But anyways, I will give it that. It was definitely a conversation started. I saw the TV glow was much better. See, that's funny. So I saw TV glow. I was like, okay, yeah, it was. I mean, I like it because it was different, if that makes sense. And again, I wasn't seeing either of them from the the transgender side of it. I was just looking at it as a movie and as a story. So but I love that again, it should be making people ask questions, right? It should be saying like, we got this wrong. People should be saying like, oh, that doesn't work. What the hell? Why are we, and I think that's so important. And yet when you see these sort of generic movies that seem to be sort of like squished out like perfect sausages from the big studios, they're bland. Yeah, I got a couple of cool effects and all this kind of stuff, but whatever. Like, we're the people. I mean, I think it's one of the reasons why, um, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy, I think had fun because it had some humor in it. Some of the new Spider-Mans and stuff. But at the same time, at this point, I just feel, at a certain point, I feel like it's all spectacle, no story. And especially in an age of AI, when you could type out a prompt and have that spectacle, the stories and characters are going to become even more important. And I don't care whether they're done by AI or humans. I mean, as long as they're good, there's still a human at the back there prompting. I mean, someone described the coding thing as interesting because people are saying like, what about humans and code? And they were saying, well, it's just another like. Do you want to go back to the early days of computers where you had to basically solder together a computer in order for it to solve a problem or flick switches? That was done because it was a necessity, and then we came up with some incredibly complicated machine code we had to type out and punch cards and things. And we kept stepping back, going like, why don't we make this easier for us to read and to make this stuff? And the boom in software is because of things like C and C sharp and things because well, that's actually probably a little before that, but languages that were higher level languages further away from the actual electrons passing through transistors and stuff. That by stepping back from that, you could be so much more creative with the programs. You get them to do so many more things. So I feel like that's happening. AI for me is like another level up from writing Python code. Now I have a it's sort of a chat version of of a development platform. I can just talk back and forth with my AI and ask it to comment things and explain how this works and what is that code and where does that package come from and all that kind of stuff in a way that you couldn't do before. And I think we should embrace that. I mean, again, if there's problems, we solve them as they come along. But I think if AI can be used to create great stories, by harnessing the power of the humans who have unique ideas and perspectives on things, and then having the AI make them easier to build. I mean, imagine being able to create a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but it's done in your basement with a bunch of your friends. I'm all for that. That's how I started. I mean, that's how we started making little movies and wanting to make sci-fi, but we couldn't afford sci-fi. You need huge crews, and we were shooting on film, and you couldn't afford that. And the idea that if you could make it cheap enough for a kid in a basement to make his own Star Wars, I mean, why? Why? I'm all for that. I think that's fantastic. I mean, the copyright issues, yes, I understand all that. You know, um, we got to figure out something there, but at the same time, I'm like, I let's let's let these kids be creative. Let's the idea that I can I can doodle in a book now, draw little things, and I've learned that because I've watched YouTube videos. I have access to artists who are willing to share that stuff, and that wasn't available before. And I think if I could have an AI that could help me talk through the process of drawing or examine this or break it down for me, that kind of stuff, that'd be fascinating. I mean, the idea of being able to pick up these tools, that people playing piano because there's apps that will walk them through the process. Yeah, I'm again, I'm a tech optimist. I know there are issues. I don't deny that. And there are certainly things I don't understand how we're going to solve them. I mean, one of them is like, what do we who owns a lot of this stuff. So, anyways, exactly. In terms of my career, I'm so scared of the advancement of AI. Um, I think your best bet if you are going into this industry now, given AI's prevalence in society at this point, is just see how it's going to see how you can work with it. That's the best thing is. I don't. I think you can pretty well guarantee it's not going to be banned. But that is a genie that is out of the bottle. I don't think it's going back in. So I think you just have to figure out how you're going to make what you're going to make using AI as best as to the best of your ability. The industry weirdly, it's so funny because the film industry I always thought was going to be like so far advanced, and in some ways it is. The odd, I mean, some visual effects and camera tech and that kind of stuff, but it's also so antiquated in the way it makes things. And I think it's we are forced now into a position where we have to make films cheaper. I mean, unless you're a massive studio, if you're an independent filmmaker, you've got to be making your movies for nothing right now because movies just don't seem to be worth anything unless they're these massive blockbuster things that have huge marketing and studio muscle behind them, or a Netflix or a Prime or whatever. And then those are out of the realm of possibility for most people. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I mean, like doing the Boys spin-off thing right now. The budgets and resources they have there. It's amazing. I mean, God, it'd be fantastic if to have that kind of clout and budget to make things. But I think that AI could potentially make that possible. So I think if you're going into the industry now, sorry, sort of specifically talking to Cine Junkie, I guess, but um, yeah, I mean, I think you just want to stay up on that is what I would do. Stay up on that. Just stay up on all the stuff that's happening on AI. Find a couple of people on YouTube who you like, who are keeping you up to date on stuff. I'll have a look and see who the people are that I'm looking at. There's a lot of sort of charlatan kind of snake oil AI stuff out there, and some of them are fun too. Just, just to sort of try to keep up on it because it changes literally hourly at this point. But just look and see what's out there, what's being used, and where you could fit into that. I think is the key there. Because the reality is, we could all be making Stargate episodes. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be called Stargate; it'd have to be called something else, because otherwise we'd get sued by MGM or Amazon or whoever it is. But the reality is that, yes, I think it's very possible that someone could be creating their own version of Stargate, their own Doctor Who, their own Lord of the Rings. That's possible now. But again, I think we need to stop being so enamored with the tools and focus on the stories and the characters. I think that's what's going to be the most important stuff. So, oh my God, I'm so serious today. Okay, I'm out of here. I got to go have breakfast because I haven't done that. But I have done my exercise. 23 minutes today, trying to climb by 1 minute to go. And yeah, I was listening to a lot of AI stuff, so I guess that makes sense for today's chat. Gatestar GS1, exactly. Zindaneric. All right, peace out, Girl Scout. Hey again, it's been years since last we interacted. I recall commenting on a video of yours where you were working on a fun little mini gate. If I recall correctly, thank you for all the inspiration. Oh God, you're welcome. God, llamas are pink. Llamas are pink. I love it. All right, nice meeting you again too, Ashton. Jenny A. Tomorrow will be 24 minutes. Maybe. I guess so. Oh God, this 24 seems so long. Let me just say that tomorrow will at least be 23 minutes. How's that? All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Lovely questions. Thank you again for the people throwing money at me too. Who was that? It was so nice. Can I scroll back? Helen. Yeah, thank you, Helen C, for that. That was lovely. I'll talk to you soon. So until we geek again, I'll say be brave, be kind, be brilliant, cheerio, and huzzah. Who's not here? Huzzah's not here. No, and neither's the gecko. I'm alone. Bye.